we're jumping into the stereo install on the T4. I'm trying to go with a budget type setup, so I'm not spending tons of money. So what I wanted to do is talk to you about, we shared with you guys the 3-panel rocker switch that we sell. We also sell these cubby holes for the driver's and passenger side speaker holder. So this is what it looks like. You can get them in any color on our website as well. And then when you install a speaker, that's what it's gonna look like with the speaker in it. So I went with 3-inch round speakers. They're waterproof marine grade speaker. They have a little bit deeper cone on them. So they're supposed to add a little bit of bass, so it's not just really, really high treble, but I think they're around 40 bucks or so, 50 bucks. They're not too crazy. We'll provide the link for them on Amazon in the description below. So check that out, but let's jump in the video and show you how I installed this speaker onto this panel with some hardware I got. We'll go from there. So these will actually sit in the T4 like this. So that's why you got to angle the speaker. When it's straight up and down, it looks angled, but it'll actually sit in there like that, so it's actually straight. So the other side will be like that. Done, there's your finished speaker panel. It'll go in a little bit like that, so it'll be nice and straight. Both of them set up. They look good. These panels run 50 bucks for the pair, and like I said, any color. We also sell these panels that will hold rocker switches, or we sell these panels that are actual blanks, so you can drill what you want, or you can actually buy them in a pair for shelves and get an actual shelf in those little cubby holes. So there you go. Okay, for the stereo, we need to cut out this right here. And basically to get 3 inches, I measured it, we're gonna have to cut right along this line all the way around. So that will give us the perfect diameter to fit this new Boss head unit that I'm going with. That's gonna slide in here. That requires a 3-inch hole basically. So that will give you the perfect size if you follow that little line with the razor blade. Nice and slow, and we're just going to cut that out. And I'm remounting my dash on here so it's nice and sturdy as I start to cut all that out. So there you go. This little thing right here was for my old unit, so the cord. So when it pulled on that, I just did a little gouge to get that cord out. But now I'm going to the main head unit. I just chose the Boss. Trying to stay under a budget. To me, you know, spending 60, 70 bucks on this is good enough for me. I don't need to spend a bunch of money. There's a lot of other options that are a whole lot better, but I'm going with this unit here. And then I'm adding speakers, one there, which I will show you shortly, and then also the 2 in the back. All right, so we'll keep on going on wiring up the stereo. this head unit installed now. It's not too hard, just make sure you have your left and right speaker wire separated. So here I have mine separated right here. Here's the left or the right front and rear speaker, and then on this side I got the left front and rear speaker. Just know which speaker wires which I know the blue ones I ran, the heavier duty, are for the pod speakers I have in the back, so that's easy. And then the black and white ones that came with these little speakers are the ones for the front, so it makes it really easy to know which ones that you're dealing with. We're gonna tie into my relay for my stereo here. We'll cut that down, plug that right in. For the power, I'm trying to think on this remote wire if I will tap it into my rocker switch in a way that when I kick on my rocker switch, it will work. So that way I can play some tunes if I'm just parked somewhere and not have to worry about turning on the ignition to get that going. So other than that, let's jump into this. I'm gonna clean up this wire a little bit more before we get started, and then we'll get this head unit installed. On these wires, a lot of people like to cut them shorter to clean up the wiring a little bit. I don't cut them as short. I actually leave them with a little bit of length and tuck them into the dash a little bit. I do have them zip tied together, but the reason I do that is because if you ever have to work on this thing or pull it out like I have some freedom to move them around a little bit. Like this lays out plenty far enough for me to work on all this, so it's not so tight like clear up here and you can't hardly get it out. So there's pros and cons to it, you just have to decide. But clean this up a little bit more. Other than that, we'll get started on the rest. Just make sure we're good there. That way I have my wires here. I can work on this. I'm gonna cut these down shorter so I can still access them pretty easy. Get these all wired up, push this in here, get the back plate installed to hold it in place, and be good to go. I haven't decided with these. I really am not ever planning on using them. So I could technically just cut them off, tape it up a little bit, and then not have this extra. But I do have a pocket that sits down in here a little bit. So I'm probably gonna drop those in there in case I have an issue with the head unit and need to send it back in the first month or so of having it. That way I don't void any of that if I cut this off. So I'll probably leave it on for now, even though it's kind of a pain in the butt and it's bulky. But I do have it zip tied along with that stuff too. Okay, so I've got the stereo installed. As you can see, it's on. Everything's working. And how I wired this is a little bit different for the remote wire. I went ahead and wired it in with the power wire. And the reason I did that is because I have this stereo running through a relay and on the switch. So really, I don't need a remote to turn it on with the ignition because the switch will already do that at the bottom there. It actually is set up just to go straight power, because without the rocker switch on, there's no power. Everything's completely dead from here. So you just wire the remote wire in with the power wire. You've got your negative wire, and then you've got your speaker wires. So just make sure you wire those properly, white and black, white with the black stripe, and so on. All those need to be set up and ready to go. So anyways, that's ready to go. We'll get this mounted in. I've already tested everything before I sealed everything up. Heat shrink this stuff real quick, and we'll be ready to rock.